if that's all right with you.
Well, it's not with me, it's just with the Green Party. Yeah, but you have a total of 4
Thank you, Deputy Ryan. Okay. Minister, mistrust, suspicion, frustration, talk of monopolies, cartels, and indeed most recent desperation of farmers could have been forecast by me and indeed many in this House for a long time, because farmers have been led down a cul-de-sac and suddenly realised they need to come back up to the crossroads. And the solution to this, I think, is the word that we're all throwing around here, is transparency. I have said, having spoken to many farmers and indeed many people employed in the meat factories, indeed many of them who have a deep connection to agriculture, that the farmers and the factories need to be friends, not foes. But it's my view that for the last 20 years, the word foe has become more and more the norm than being friends. But I think that crossroads that the farmers have reached is at a critical period. We can talk about Brexit and indeed the depressed state of the beef demand, not just in our nearest market of Britain, but indeed right across Europe, particularly in depressed prices. And it is my belief that if we get a hard Brexit, that the issue of where we are now will have to be even re-looked at. I want to ask a number of questions, Minister, that I would hope you'd respond to in your question and answer, and that is, will you assure or can you assure the farmers categorically that all of the actions and measures agreed in the talks will be stood over and delivered upon? I want to ask you, will you agree to appoint an independent food price regulator, which I believe will bring some transparency there, and Fianna Fáil and Deputy McConnell has been asking for a long period of time, almost finished last Concordia? Will you commit to this House, as you indicated when I spoke earlier in the year, that the way forward was forward pricing? And indeed, it is my belief that that can be achieved, and you seem to indicate it can. But coupled with that, I think the issue of a base price in good faith needs to be arrived at by the factories, because this industry, in my view, is at a stage of imploding. And if things get worse, it will implode further. And finally, and I've asked the Minister for Finance this, Brexit supports in the event of a no-deal Brexit, will you commit to making sure that those measures are in place in good time to give further support to the farming sector, because it's no good 3 months after things have imploded?